Let's record who is in attendance. Council President Chief.
Here.
Councilor Franken.
Here.
Councilor Hayes.
Yes.
Councilor Martin. Here. Councilor McGinnis.
Here.
And Mayor McNeely is present. The consent agenda is a tool used to streamline meeting procedures by collecting routine, non-controversial items into a group whereby all are passed with a single motion and vote. You have before you the consent agenda on the approval of the December 13, 2023 regular meeting minutes, approval of December 13, 2023 workshop minutes, and review of December 2023 check register. The minutes of the previous meetings and December 2023 check register were distributed beforehand. Does the councilor wish to remove any of these items from the consent agenda to be discussed individually during items removed from consent agenda? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that the Rockaway Beach City Council adopt the consent agenda.
I second.
It is moved and seconded to approve the January 10, 2024 consent agenda. Let's record how councilors vote. Councilor President Chi?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Hayes?
Yes.
Councilor Martin?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
It passes unanimously. Councilor President Chi?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Hayes?
Yes.
Councilor Martin?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
It passes unanimously. All right, we're going to add an item into our presentation guest and announcement section. I have the pleasure of introducing Doug Olson. He just recently took on the task of County Commissioner for Tillamook County, and he asked if he could just say a few words to the group here this evening. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and councilors. As he said, my name is Doug Olson. I'm the new county commissioner. Many of you know David Yamamoto, Commissioner Yamamoto, who for 7 years represented all of Tillamook County, and he took an early retirement. And so the two remaining commissioners, Commissioner Starr and Commissioner Bell, went through a process, and I ended up the winner, I guess you could say. And so I've agreed to serve the remainder of Commissioner Yamamoto's term, which is 1 year. And I don't really plan to run for election or re-election. I've been elected to public office 7 times. I've been on the PUD board for 4 terms, and we've had a number of meetings in this very nice room, by the way. And I was on our water and sewer board down in Pacific City where my wife and I live. This is my wife, Patty, back here. And so what I'm trying to do is simply go to all 7 of our cities, introduce myself, and so you can put a face to a name. And because the way I look at things is we're all serving the same people. We're trying to do the best we can and make things work and better for Tillamook County. And you have your sets of issues, and I think from what I understand, you got a pretty good one tonight. The county has gone through that prior to my time. So I'm simply just moving around, and I was in Manzanita, I think, last week, and I'll do all the others as time permits. And so thank you again for having me. And I guess my promise to you would be, if you call, if you've got a matter with the county and you're not getting a response or a satisfaction, I will return your call, I hope within 48 hours. Now, I won't guarantee success, but you'll hear from the county. I'm not going to leave people hanging. That's not my style. So I appreciate what you folks do, and I'm pretty familiar with public service. I've been on the county budget committee for almost 20 years, so I know the county budget and where the money is and where it comes from and all of that, and I appreciate what all of you do because it's a commitment, and I know I doubt any of you are drawing a large salary, so you do this because you like public service, and a lot of us do that, and I tell people you're doing the right things for the right reasons. So again, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the time, and I think my wife and I'll take our leave. It's a pretty nasty night out there, but I wish you the best. And again, if you need to talk to somebody in Tillamook County, and I know well the relationship you have with the sheriff's office and how those things work. And something's not working there, and you're unhappy and you're not getting satisfaction, I gave a number, you call that number, and I'll at least get the right people in the room for you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Olson. Appreciate you dropping in on our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
All right, we recognize and welcome Peter Gelser from Kuntz Velasquez and Associates to discuss the City of Rockaway Beach's 2022-2023 fiscal year financial audit. Come on down.
All right. Thank you, members of the City Council and Mayor. Yes, my name is Peter Gelser. I was the lead auditor for your last fiscal year. So this is the fiscal year 2022-23, ending June 30th, 2023. Whenever I do these presentations, I'll give you a kind of a brief overview of what we kind of talked about during the audit, what we found, things like that. But it's really an opportunity also, if you have questions, you can ask me at this time, or I'm also always available on the phone or by email, whatever works best for you. So fiscally, it was an unmodified opinion, which is really what you want. That's the top information that you want to have. And fiscally, the city is doing well. We definitely can see some conservative kind of fiscal management, where we're seeing, your revenue slowly increase and expenses being stable in a lot of ways. We have had a lot of COVID money that's come and stimulus money the last couple of years. And so yes, that will probably go away. So some of these grants and so forth that you're seeing, I would expect to kind of shrink, if not go away completely. But overall, the city is still relying significantly on transit from taxes. But that's flowing through the state in a much more stable way. And now that they've worked out their kinks, there was one year that we had 5 quarters, so you may have seen a couple little bits ups and downs of your transit room taxes, but I would expect going forward to be fairly stable, as long as people are coming to your great city. So overall, I think from a numbers standpoint, things are looking good. I don't really have major concerns from my point of view. I mean, your general fund is strong. Just keep in mind that transit room taxes is one of your big income sources.
Thank you.
Yes. So that's just be aware of that. I mean, so you're gonna have those ups and downs of those as that tax source goes up and down. From a fiscal management point of view, I've also seen a lot of improvements. I've been doing this audit for a long time now, I don't know how many years. It's been a while. And we've had some ups and downs with that as we've had new staff. And this year, there are some things on the letters. We can go through those in detail. But they're all like items where there was some issues in the past and they were cleaned up 50% or 75% of the way. And we just have to get over that last little bit. So there's one item where we're talking about a revenue recognition thing with the transit taxes. And so what happens is the state provides that money every quarter. So the money that's showing up for January through March shows up in July or August. And it's making sure you record it in the right fiscal year. I mean, it's been an issue for the last couple of years, especially as the state has kind of figured things out. And this year, it was almost there. It was just it's recorded as cash rather than a receivable. And so it's recorded correctly as an asset, it's just not the right asset. It's really minor. It's just a big number, so that's why it's on the letter. The second kind of thing that we've seen is some issues with cash overall. And there's been a lot of improvements there as well, where, I don't know if you remember last year, we were talking about LGIP reconciliations. That's been done. Staff has been doing that as regularly. And so now we've seen an underlying issue that we could not see because those reconciliations weren't done before. Now that we're seeing them, we can see more clearly what's going on with cash. And so what happens is you can move cash to other accounts, other cash accounts, to show restricted amounts for various loans and so forth. And we just have to track it a little better and make sure that when you do the reconciliation, you're matching what's showing up in the GL. So there's a lot of improvements, even though it's still in letter, there's a lot of improvements there. We just have to get over that final hump of making sure voided checks are quickly cleared throughout the entire accounting system and restricted cash is moved as necessary. So those are the two bigger ones that we saw this year. And again, you can see there's a lot of improvement in just getting over that last little bit. The financial statement finding you're going to have every year. The accounting standard board has kept adding new requirements. This year, it was the first year in a while that we haven't had something big that we had to add. But every time they add something, it makes it more complex. Your financial statement used to be much shorter, and especially with the PERS and the pension liabilities and so forth, you now have a whole book for your financial statements. And that complexity makes it so that staff, your city staff, doesn't know all the complexity of every single standard. And in our judgment, we feel like that's why we are doing it and you're reviewing it. That's just the way it works. And the state recognizes that it's kind of the structure we have in Oregon, and so it's fine. The other couple minor ones that I'd like to tell you, I can't remember. There is one about compensated absences, and that's related to the fact that you have a small staff and they can't take vacations when they want to, necessarily. And you have some limits on their vacation time, and when those are exceeded, that's technically a violation of your policy. So it's just a fact that it's hard for various people, especially management, to take time off. One way to address that would be, I think we've done it with Luke, we've raised those limits. And when you raise those limits, that's fine. You just have to be aware that as people are able to leave, there's a big liability that would have to be paid out, when they leave. And so that's the risk with raising those limits, but it's a reasonable approach when you have such a small staff. I'm forgetting one, I apologize.
Journal entries.
Oh, journal entries, thank you. So for journal entries, it was on the letter last year, and we got halfway there. So some journal entries are now being approved and reviewed by Luke. We just have to get the rest of the journal entries done. And so that's what's going on there. And we've already had some back and forth with city staff about some of their policies they're implementing for some of these issues. And I will continue to provide some guidance and suggestions to kind of get these things resolved. So that was a lot in it there. Quick. Do you have questions, concerns? And I can go further into more numbers. I never really talked about numbers. It's kind of up to you.
Numbers wouldn't be bad.
Numbers would be good, okay? So always when I look at the financials, I don't know if you have them in front of you, but the key here, if you look on page 7 and 8, of your financial statements. It's a condensed view of the overall city position. So the first page is basically for your business owners, it's a balance sheet, right? So it's, and there's government activities, which are your general fund, your police, or to the county for the police, the fire, city staff, city hall staff. The business is the water and sewer and so forth. So those are the two things. I always like looking at these 2 pages because you can get a sense of what's happened over the last 2 years. So for example, your government activities net position, which is, it's your equity as a business owner. It's the amount that the city has available for use. Went from 11.6 million in 22 to 14.2 million in 23. Do you, on page 7?
Yeah.
You got that? Sorry.
We've come a long way, haven't we, David?
You have.
From when you started with us.
Right, and there's a time when the general fund, it was going down so drastically that there's real concerns that, in 5 years, you wouldn't have a general fund.
Right.
So there's a significant improvement in the overall financial health of the city.
Do you think us using the revenue department to do the TRT has really stabilized and helped a lot?
I think it's helped.
Yeah.
Specifically because you always had a big receivable listed there, and it was sometimes months or years before you actually received money, and you had to actually have what we call an allowance for doubtful accounts, because you didn't know exactly how much of that money was coming back in to the city. So I think that's definitely helped. And I think, I don't know how it worked, the whole shift for the police department has helped some as well in terms of your costs. And there's more money coming in. You can see that to pop that in the numbers, and so I think it's good. So if you go to page 8, that gives you a sense of this is like a profit and loss statement. So similarly, but you can see this big transit room tax of 2.1 million in 23. And it's 1.6 in 22. So that's a big part of your health. But you can also see, the operating grants, and those have helped as well the last couple of years. And the other big change was interest rates for your LGIP account has helped in 23. That's why it's 220,000. So I expect that to go back down over time.
Yeah.
It's already gone down.
Yeah.
But you won't see those 5% anymore. That's the reality of it. Okay. And the way this always works is that's the top level numbers. And then if you go, I always look at your general fund when I'm looking at things. So if you look at page 17, you can get a sense of your general fund activity for the year. And there you can see that there's growth of about 380,000. So that's the positive cash flow for about 380,000.
Where does that come from?
Where does what?
380,000, if I'm allowed to ask a question.
So that's all the revenues. So all the taxes, the property taxes, all those things, and then the cost for running City Hall and all the other
It's an
services.
expense, but
Right.
the income itself is short-term rentals.
So the short-term rentals is a totally different fund.
Okay.
So that's the transit room tax fund. And most of the way that works,
How about monthly license, yearly license? Short-term rentals. That in the general fund?
so that is partly in the general fund and partly in the transit room tax fund.
How much?
How much is what?
Yeah, I mean, how much is going towards that?
No, I think, yeah,
That-
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to stop the questions from the audience. This isn't a drill down into the city's budget. I appreciate your enthusiasm, excitement, but we'll keep it directed at just the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, and I would like to say, so first of all, what we're looking at, what he's presented city council is this big thing. But I would like to say, I've been on the budget committee in city council for a few years and it's time intensive. And, but what I would like to say is if anyone wants to contact me, I would meet you for coffee or something and show you this and let you see what we're looking at. I would be delighted to do that.
Is that available on the website?
That would be, yeah.
And the page he's referring to is at 16, and it has all the answers to those questions on page 16.
So it's available both on the website, and the state also has a website for all the missing models. Sorry if I distracted
No,
you.
it's okay, I understand.
That's why I asked permission.
It's helpful for you to, even me, I've been doing this as long with you since you first came, and I learn something every time they give a presentation to us. And you're always open to my questions, and sometimes they may be very novice even, or I feel like it's a novice question, but you're always open to answering, and I appreciate that.
So since transit room taxes has come up a lot, just on that same page, you can see that the revenue is coming in and then it gets transferred out to all the other funds and activities. So that's what you're doing with those monies.
So we're very fortunate to have transient lodging tax. Other cities,
Right.
it's like frosting on our cake, and it funds a great deal of what we do. We're very, very fortunate to have it. And we can track it now.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing of what the state has enabled with this system. I would expect you to get a similar amount every quarter, basically. So that's helpful for budgeting and planning and everything.
We have Luke to thank for that, because that was really his suggestion that we do it that way. Yeah. And part of that is because it makes folks more accountable to paying their taxes, because it's not just Rockaway asking for the money, it's the government, it's the state of Oregon.
The Oregon State Department of former teacher of revenue collects it for us, but I also want to piggyback and thank you, Luke, because Rockaway was one of the first cities in Oregon to get into that program, and there were some hurdles to cross, and our city manager was able to get us across those hurdles very quickly.
Yeah, and you could definitely see it, in the way the state responded with it. It took some time to get a regular cycle going, but I think it's helpful and it's a good program.
Any other questions from the council? Anything else for us?
No, the only thing else I would say, city staff has worked really hard on this. This is not just me doing it. They provide all the information and data, and so I wanted just to recognize that they're part of this whole endeavor. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Gelser.
You can thank Luke for that.
All right, the chair recognizes Fire Chief Todd Hesse to report on the fire department.
Looks like a full crowd tonight. Better be a good report. Great. You're gonna put the fire.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, City Manager, Rockaway Beach. You have before you the Fire Department report, council report for December of 23. We'll start with calls like we do. We had 31 911 calls in December, 23 medical. Had with storms, we had 5 automatic fire alarms. Storm surges tend to set those off for us. Had a couple water rescues. They were not in our district, but we had some people getting into the water in the Garibaldi area. We helped their fire department with a couple rescues. Trainings had 4 trainings. Gave them the last training of the month off. They had they only had 99. If we trained the last, they would have 100 full trainings in official trainings in 23. Non-emergent was up a little bit. A lot of public assist. I don't know, we lifted a lot of people last month, answered a lot of questions. We were on the beach a couple times with the king tides. But I think the biggest part of what you would need to see in the numbers is the trends year to date. And if you look across our 911 calls, in 21 we had 407, and last year in 23 we had 410. So it seems like our 911 calls are kind of stabilized. And I thought you might ask what, before I came, how many we had. We had 186 the year before I came. So I don't know whether I showed up and we got a lot more calls to justify the job, I don't know. But I saw we've seen a significant increase, but we've seen a nice plateau now that I hope we stay that way, or get less. Non-emergent calls were 319. We get a lot more citizen complaints than we've had in the past, and those get logged into that, along with the public assist calls and some of the beach stuff we do. Training, like I said, we had 99 of them. The mission of the department training really came forward this year. Couple things I would bring out. Tonight, they're starting an EMG class across the street with Tillamook Bay Community College again in our partnership. There's 25 students across the street tonight starting their first round of EMG classes. Yeah, it's pretty impressive to me that at the last council meeting, City Manager Shepherd brought up that there's about 50 graduates from our EMT program and our EMR program over the last couple of years. And it has seen a significant impact in the county's resources for EMS. And I'd like to add one more thing to that is 4 of our students from the last 2 classes have now joined the ambulance and are employed by Adventist Health. And you're starting to see that help the ambulance issue that we've had at times in the past where the staffing is definitely helping with that. So I just thought I'd add a positive to the program that also existed. We didn't do much in the water last month. The year-end statistics are there. We talked to 177 different visitors, citizens, and had 359 different people we talked that were in unsafe conditions in the ocean out of the water last year. And we had 0 water rescues in our ocean last year, and I think it's a lot to say about the diligence of our crews out there on the beach trying to keep people safe. Now, emergency preparedness, the group, there's a handful there. It's good to see our preparedness, our CERT group, our radio group all sitting in this room, gaining, well, even up here. We're gaining a lot of momentum. The preparedness group right now, they've been working especially on the potential for ice and snow and winter weather. They've been working hard to get programs set so if we lose power or you need to get a place to warm up, that we have the supplies and a procedure now in place that if you need help, we're gonna be able to help you. The CERT crew, I'm really proud. I got to have pretty amazing. 33 people have started the CERT class, the online portion of the class. And at January 30th, they're going to start the hands-on practical that we are really bringing a great program to Rockaway. There'll be 33 CERT folks if they all, we're all going to graduate, right? Okay. So there'll be 33 CERT in the radio. There's some trainings coming up with the yellow radio because there's a surge of interest now in the radio group again and getting that program up and going good. So preparedness and emergency management side, I think we're really strong right now. And we got a good group of folks, and we'll keep the council updated on where we're at and go from there. Winter projects I'm working on. Like I say, emergency preparedness and management are my two priorities, but we're just finishing the policy manual up. Still working on our city's ISO insurance ratings, pre-work. We're looking at all our grant options, and we will be updating our community wildfire protection plan, and just keep moving our mission forward. So, and last but not least, we have an announcement with our assistant chief of 35 years, Sean Vincent, has retired effective December 31st. Which, what a wonderful career, and he did a lot for this community. We will be having a retirement party for him next Saturday. There'll be some invites coming out. I'll get with the council and make sure you have all those. And then Don Kaiser has been promoted to our new assistant chief.
Wow.
So that's pretty much what I have for you tonight, other than I did have a phone outage. I don't know whether some of you, when you're sleeping or not, but a couple months ago, I talked about phone outages, and when our landline phones go out of service, dispatch calls us, we man the station. I don't know if you know this, but in the last 2 weeks, it's happened 4 times. And most people don't know if you're just sleeping, but the transmission line, some reason it goes over to the valley and back of the 911 calls. I'm not exactly sure how it's routed, but it's usually a problem in a transmission line somewhere, but it takes out all of the landlines. So your cell phones, though, are working. Your 911 is working on your cell phone, so that gives you that. But if you're relying on a landline and something happens, there'll be somebody sitting at the fire station. And we have a radio, we can get a hold of folks and get you the help you need. So with that, that is my report for tonight. Do you have any questions?
I do. How about the fire engine?
Status?
Yeah.
I picked the color of it. It's really pretty red. But I will be going back to South Dakota sometime early spring here to check its status, but it's in production. They will not give a date of delivery, but it will be within the next 12 months.
Can we name it?
Sure.
Here's an idea for you. Maybe
Sure.
a fundraiser of some sort.
Name the fire truck. Okay.
I love the red of the firehouse, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm traditional.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hesse. All right, the chair recognizes Deputy Kevin Grogan to report on the Philemon County Sheriff's Office.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So December was a busy month for the Sheriff's Office in Rockaway Beach. We had several criminal cases involving physical violence and or threats of violence. December and the holiday season can be stressful. The Sheriff's Office partners with several agencies in the county that can assist people in these stressful times. We're happy to help our community connect to those resources prior to the situation getting to a point where someone may get injured. So now to the notable calls for service this month. Food and disturbance in the Lakeside Hideaway, where investigation revealed an adult male struck another adult male in the face. The arrest was made. The case was forwarded to the district attorney's office. We responded to a report of possible narcotic use in a vehicle near the wayside. One of the persons inside the vehicle did have an active warrant and was arrested and taken to jail. The case was also forwarded to district attorney. While deputies were investigating a potential assault on North Pacific Street, another assault was reported while deputies were still on scene. That suspect was arrested and taken to jail, and that case was also forwarded to the DA's office. We responded to a report of a possible assault in the Lake Lila area. Investigation revealed an adult male ran into a juvenile female unconscious, leading to additional injuries to the female. The male was arrested on multiple charges, and the case was also forwarded to the district attorney's office. And big one here, the deputies assisted the Oregon State Police with a report of menacing with a weapon on the beach. Several state troopers, deputies, and an officer from Mandan Police responded. The individual displayed signs of mental illness/crisis. The suspect was arrested on multiple felony charges at the end of the incident. This case will be forwarded to the district attorney's office. And you have a list of all our other calls throughout the month. Any questions?
You were very busy.
Yes.
Yeah, very busy. I think this last December, than we were in the summer,
Yeah, no, I would say that,
and more violent.
yes.
Will you tell me what CAMI is? CAMI?
So that's like a child assault. That's in that main area, detectives and, TFCC will take care of parts of those.
Do you get, in these different assault reports in here, do you get citizens calling these in sometimes, or?
We get people viewing it, hearing it, seeing it, we get the victims themselves calling in, we get multiple calls, usually on the same incident.
Could you tell us real quickly, if someone wants to report something to you, what's the number they use and how do they contact?
911, if it's an active emergency, call 911, and we, like I said, we've got 2 deputies, full-time in Rockaway, we overlap on Wednesdays, we'll get there pretty fast.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Deputy Rogan.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Public Works Superintendent Dan Emerson to report on Public Works.
All right, dear Mayor, City Council, and City Manager of Rockaway Beach, we'll start with water operations. Monthly and quarterly water samples were collected to comply with state requirements. High Jetty Creek flows caused some creek scarring, necessitating emergency maintenance on the fish screen. Our personnel, led by Logan, effectively cleared the rocks from around the fish screen to allow for the flow of water into the impoundment. The adverse weather conditions, including the heavy rain on December 5th and 6th, resulted in mud flowing down Jetty Creek. However, the sophisticated design of our facility played a role in managing the situation effectively. Furthermore, our team demonstrated commitment during the 2 water main leaks in the Donna Beach, working tirelessly until repairs were successfully completed. Sewer operations. December brought challenges for the wastewater treatment plant. With record high flows on December 5th, these kinds of high flows can destroy a wastewater plant's biomass and make it difficult to pass lab. The team monitored them and made necessary adjustments to protect the sewer plant's biomass. While this was going on, the sewer plant lost its level of control for the PLC, which controls the level the pumps turn on and off. This required 24/7 monitoring until the level control was purchased, installed, and reprogrammed. While making these repairs, we looked into upgrading the equipment, but were faced with challenges such as the availability, compatibility, and the ease of use. Roads and drainage. The team observed a significant amount of Trex boards in the Rock Creek outfall, posing potential drainage issues. This highlights the critical need for all homeowners to play a role in keeping our drainage way open and free from obstructions. The city has a responsibility to maintain functional and effective drainage systems, but we also rely on the cooperation of homeowners to ensure its effectiveness. The drainage way serves a critical component of preventing flooding, erosion, and other potential hazards that can impact both public and private properties. To maintain the effectiveness of the drainage system and in turn protect your properties and those of your neighbors, we kindly request your cooperation in keeping the drainage ways adjoining your property open and free from any growth or obstructions. This includes removing debris, vegetation, and any other material that might impede the flow of water to adjoining properties. Parks. Public Works took proactive measures by placing sand on the South 6th Beach access to protect against erosion during the king tides. Collaboration with state parks to obtain permits for emergency access point repairs and creek maintenance for the 2024 season is completed. We have received our permits and will continue to monitor outfalls and emergency accesses. That's it. Do we have any questions?
What's your confidence in the PLC repair?
We replaced it with a new old stock, so we're happy. It ran for many years, so we're happy with it, and we don't have to learn any new. So it's good.
Any chance of the parts being obsoleted for future failures?
Yes, you cannot purchase that part anymore. That was new and stuff. The company still had a new one just sitting on the shelf that we were lucky that they had.
And part of the repair, Dan, if you correct me if I'm wrong, I think the speed was a concern, how quickly we could make the repair, and being able to transfer the program we had on file into the same PLC was really quick. It would have required additional programming to get that program to operate on a different PLC, is my understanding.
So
And the level controller uses It reads level, devices that read the level, and the new level controller would not have worked with those devices. And those devices were not readily available. And the programming on top of all that was gonna be a nightmare and very expensive at the time, so. We are back the way it was designed, and we all know how that works, so we like it. And it's never caused any work.
You had 24-hour shifts for a few days to keep everything functioning, so I want to thank your staff for stepping up and doing that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you, Superintendent Anderson. Well, over to you, City Manager Shepherd.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and welcome everybody to the first regular session council meeting of 2024. It's gonna be a long meeting, so I'm gonna jump right in. And I'll start talking about what we have in store for tonight. First up, we'll have our first public hearing for proposed ordinance 2024-01. And this ordinance seeks to amend our ordinances code chapter 113 related to short-term rentals. And it does that in three ways. Number one, it establishes the authority for the city council to set a cap on the number of STR licenses within the city of Rockaway Beach. It also authorizes the establishment of a new license waiting list, and it authorizes the establishment of an under construction waiting list. And I have as note below, our current code doesn't allow license transfer between property owners. And when you don't have a cap, it doesn't play a big role. But that line will have a much larger impact on the rental industry if a cap goes into place. So I just wanted to point that out as a kind of a side effect of the ordinance. I'll go into a little more detail because this is a big topic for us. So like I said, the ordinance establishes the authority to set a cap, but it doesn't set that cap. We're going to set that cap through a resolution. And we do that for a few reasons. One, it buys us more time to do some research and have discussions with the council on what that number should be. So the council is still working on what the cap's going to be. We're working on it at our workshops. It also allows the cap number to be changed relatively quickly versus having to go back and amend your code every time you'd like to change the cap, number cap on STR licenses. And as our auditor said, STR generate a good amount of revenue for Rockaway Beach. It is fairly restrictive, but it is a significant revenue source for Rockaway Beach. So this ordinance also establishes a new license waiting list. So once we hit that cap, all future potential STRs will be put on a waiting list, and have to submit an application to be on the waiting list, and the waiting list will be arranged according to the order we receive those. Once a spot opens up, we'll contact the owners and allow the next on the list to apply for a license. One thing worth noting is that the position on that waiting list is tied to the owner. So the position on a waiting list is also not transferable. The ordinance establishes the under construction waiting list. So basically, we create an exception to the cap for homes that are currently under construction if the intent of the owner is to, at a future date, operate his completed project as an STR. So the deadline is you need to have a building permit issued before March 29, 2024. If you do, you can apply for a provisional STR application. We'll get you on the under construction waiting list. And as long as you get your home built within 2 years, you can apply for an STR as soon as you get occupancy from the county. And those are really the three main authorities given by that ordinance. As far as timelines go, the council did a workshop in December on this ordinance. We have a public hearing tonight. We have the opportunity for a first reading and approval of that first reading at tonight's meeting. In February, at our February meeting, we will have another public hearing. We'll have a second reading and approval of the second reading. Council will have the opportunity to adopt the ordinance. And sometime between then and the effective date of March 15th, we will hopefully the council will adopt a resolution that sets that cap number. Ordinances don't take effect until 30 days after adoption. So if the council gets to the point where they adopt the ordinance on February 14th, it'll take effect March 15th. All right, we had the audit presentation already, and just so everybody knows, Oregon law requires that we have a third party give us a financial audit each year, and of course we comply with that. Our audit for this year is online, as well as at least the last 5 years, possibly more. And the city's net position at the end of the last budget year, according to the audit, was about $27 million, up about $3 million from the last year. But as always, there's room for improvement, and that's the findings Mr. Gelser talked about. And the Secretary of State likes to have the city put together a plan, requires that we put together a plan on how to address those findings. And so we do so in the Exhibit A, Resolution 2024-1. And you can see that in that resolution, how we plan to address the findings in our audit. At the first regular session, each year, the city council gets to choose the next council president. That's according to our charter. Councilor Cheek served last year, 2023, and I don't believe the mayor had any absences, so I don't know that Councilor Cheek was able to preside over any meetings, but you were ready, I know. So, but anyway, the council president presides in the absence of the mayor, and it acts as the mayor when the mayor is unable to perform their duties. Doing that, we'll have a first reading of the ordinance 2024-1 tonight. And I go over briefly there when it authorizes in the schedule, we talked about that. Then we get into the watershed action items resolution 2024-02. The city was given awarded $50,000 grant to fund the development of a source water protection plan. In order for us to get our hands on that money, we need to sign a grant agreement with the state. That's what this resolution does. And once we have the grant agreement in place, we'll work with GSI Water Solutions and the Source Water Protection Plan Committee to develop a source water protection plan. All right, another kind of a big item tonight is resolution 2024-02. So this directs staff to place no access signs on city access trails that access recreational areas. So basically beach access points. So this resolution directs staff to place the signs. The resolution states that the city does not have the resources to maintain all the potential beach access trails that we have. It states that we don't have the resources to enforce sign compliance. And authorize the city manager to restore access should the state enact legislation to return recreational immunity. And I'll explain that a little bit here. Why do we need to do this? Well, in effect, the city's lost, and not just Rockaway, but other cities, other local governments. We've lost recreational immunity when it comes to beach access trails. And this stems out of a case from Newport, where a judge decided that if you're on a trail whose purpose is to get you to a recreational site, you're not recreating, so you don't have recreational immunity. You don't have the immunity from lawsuits or slip and fall type injuries or personal injuries. So that's a big deal for towns like ours, where we have, I think, at least 23 beach access points, and we don't have that immunity from lawsuits should somebody slip and fall. We hope that the legislation will put that back, but as of right now, they have not. And so once the signs are placed, the no access signs, Public Works will take a few steps. Number one, a detailed inventory of all of our beach access points. And then they will work and with the council to prioritize which access points, if we were to open some back up, which ones would they be? And Is it based on usage, based on how easy they are to maintain, or condition? We'll sort that out. And then once we have a prioritized list, we'll have to develop a maintenance plan for those trails. And we'll have to develop a plan that can fit within our budget. And once we do that, we can enact a maintenance plan and open up those trails that we feel we can safely maintain. So it could be quite a process, but at any time, the legislature could return recreational immunity to local governments, at which point this resolution gives me the authority to open this back up. All right, we've got a resolution approving some more community grants, both to the Friends of the Library, one for a flagpole and one for a mailer. And of note here is that we've kept the program open. We're still accepting applications, and we will accept applications through March 5th. All right, some more watershed action items. Resolution 2024-05 approves the scope of work from GSI Water Solutions for development of a drinking water protection plan and other related work. It also authorizes me to enter into a personal services agreement with the GSI. And very similar, except this time the contractor is Sustainable Northwest. They're going to play a slightly different role with us. They're going to facilitate our Jetty Creek working group meetings. They're going to look at developing long-term funding or acquisition strategies, identify and pursue funding opportunities, and really support us our efforts as requested. So it'd be a good partner to have as we move along towards potentially acquiring our watershed. All right, and then kind of a new thing for us, Resolution 2024-07 establishes the Source Water Protection Plan Development Committee. And their role will be to review project information, review reports, provide input, community input, and feedback during the development of the Source Water Protection Plan. And they will meet at least 4 times, have 5 members. And all of the members will need to be serviced by our water district. But only 4 of them need to reside within the city limits. So we have some customers in our UGB. And so one position will be open for those people. Anyway, we'll have the application online in the next day or so. We're asking for an application, resume, and a letter of interest. And then deadline is February 6th, and on February 14th, the council will review applications and make nominations and appointments to those who want to serve on that committee. Yeah, and then February is going to be busy as well. We've got a lot going on. Most of this you've already heard, so I'm not going to go into it. But we're hoping to bring back HPH to present their findings on the flood feasibility study. And then we've got a bunch of ordinances and resolutions. Most of these we'll work on at our workshop beforehand. But some kind of good news though. Construction's finally begun on the Anchor Street project. Pretty exciting. It's been a long time coming. And they've got a projected completion date of late April, and that includes not just all of the Anchor Street activities, but also the new Wayside restrooms, which will be exciting. And then just as a late addition, we got word that we were one of 2 cities in the state of Oregon to receive funding for 4 DC fast charging stations at the Anchor Street parking lot, and 1 level 2 charger, which my understanding is it's just kind of a smaller charger. But yeah, so 5 charging stations will be funded at our new Anchor Street parking lot. I anticipate we'll have a completed project before they come in and put those charging stations in. But it's a pretty big deal. It was a $14.5 million award to 12 cities, and we were one on the list. So pretty exciting. And that's what I have for tonight.
Councilors, any questions, comments? All right, thank you, City Manager Shepherd. The Rockaway Beach City Council is now scheduled to hold a public hearing to receive public comment on proposed ordinance 2024-01, an ordinance amending City of Rockaway Beach Code of Ordinance, Chapter 113, related to short-term rentals as required by Oregon Revised Statute 294.10. All documents have been available for inspection as required by state statute. At this time, I open the public hearing. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive public comment on proposed ordinance 2024-01, an ordinance amending City of Rockaway Beach Code of Ordinance, Chapter 113, related to short-term rentals. I have the sign-up sheet here. A person speaking shall address their comments to the City Council as a whole and keep their comments to 3 minutes. Anyone joining us remotely who wishes, do we have anybody remotely?
We do, Mayor, we have Cynthia Farm,
Cynthia,
Farren.
So Mayor McNeely, I'm gonna recuse myself for a potential conflict of interest and sit in the audience and then
I have
speak
you on the list.
when it's my turn.
All right, thank you very much, Councilor Hayes. So Cynthia Farnes?
Farren, Farren.
Farnes, okay, thank you. All right. So the chair recognizes Deborah Reeves.
Whatever you want to call it.
Ms. Reeves, please approach the podium and state your full name and address for the record. After 2 minutes, the timer will turn yellow. After 3 minutes, the timer will turn red. And so please conclude your comments at that time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm Debbie. Joe Snacks and Beers, my husband and I own. We, for the last 6 months, have been working on a project to build on the property. And in that building, we wanted to try to help the community with some of the issues. One in which is housing. The other is housing for medical doctors and nurses. So I've reached out to both the hospital, urgent care, Tillamook Creamery, some of your bigger companies here that are very interested in having their staff rent part of what we are going to build. My worry is that the cap on the short-term rentals is going to ixnay any of that project going forward, because doctors and nurses do not move here. They work on contracts that are anywhere from 10 to 13 weeks. So depending on how we address what a short term is, I worry that I'm not going to be able to get licensing for the project that we've been working on for a while. I've already worked with my bank. I've already worked with design team. I'm pretty far into it. I've worked with PUD, moving the pole on our property. I'm trying to help our community, and I feel like this would definitely hinder that movement. And I really want to be able to move as a community together to help address the issues, regardless if you call it a short-term or a long-term rental. The rent does not go down. Our mortgages don't go down. So we can call it what we want to call it, but it doesn't provide for those that have a mortgage on a home or whatever you're building to be able to have the grace of, okay, it's going to be long-term, so you're going to pay lower rent, which would not be the case. So anyway, I just wanted to let the community know what I've been doing, and hopefully we can vote with no cap on the short-term rentals. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reeves. The chair recognizes Ms. Langdon. Please approach the podium and state your full name and address for the record. After 2 minutes, the timer will turn yellow. After 3 minutes, the timer will turn red.
Thank you. My name is Nancy Lanyon. I live at 621 South Baker Street here in Rockaway. And in regard to the proposed STR, I'm in support of researching and public input for reasonable and for a reasonable and thoughtful ordinance. I read what is being proposed. I do have questions, hence the public input and look forward to designating types, potential of what fees, zones, is it capped by density, percentage, and other considerations, compliance with noise and things. I know that doesn't have to do with caps, but.
Nancy, could you please speak up a little bit?
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Some cities I have found even have a set-aside fee to be put towards affordable housing in communities. And I look forward to Rockaway Beach examining its comprehensive master plan, which I think goes in conjunction with very important questions like this. We do live in a limited land space, which makes this sort of thing, property use, much more important than probably other communities. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Justin McMahon. Mr. McMahon, please approach the podium, state your full name and address for the record. Again, after 2 minutes, the timer will turn yellow. After 3 minutes, it will turn red. Please conclude your comments at that point.
I'm Justin McMahon. I live at 366 North McNair Street. It's the old Rockaway Beach train depot. From way back in the day, it got turned into a vacation rental, and then my family and I moved in 3 years ago, coming up here in March. One of the items in the resolution states, I believe, that less short-term rentals equals more housing for people. The reality is that housing is a problem countywide, statewide, nationwide, and the higher density areas, of course, it's a problem like everywhere. City management of them is a challenge as well, as I'm sure you guys have experienced managing the different problems that come up with short-term rentals. So I don't discount the reality of those challenges. But we have to base our solution on reality, which is statistics and what's out there and what's available for us to look at. Not on anecdotal evidence or feelings or even how I feel sometimes, which is myself as a grumpy local now that I live here. Half of my house is a vacation rental, but I live in the other half, and sometimes vacation renters are a pain in the neck, right? But in business, you make decisions based off of facts and statistical information. And so that's what we have to look at when we look at this challenge and what is the best way of dealing with this. Average price of a house in Rockaway Beach is $500,000 to $600,000. You can find that on Zillow or many other websites. The median income in Rockaway Beach is $50,000. That means that a double income home, possibly at the median, makes $100,000 a year and can afford a house that's $350,000. Unfortunately, that would be an example that I would have been a good example of. I'm a pastor in Tillamook, and when we first got here, we had 2 incomes. Now I have 1 income, and I couldn't have afforded the house I now live in. And of course, the vacation rental does help pay for that. In a larger city, statistics change this. Average income, median income in Portland is $75,000, which means that a double income family would be able to afford more houses if provided. Every study I've found has been done on larger cities. This is not a larger city, and our income level is lower here. And so we have to look at it differently, and we have to look at options for how we can do that. Workers in Rockaway Beach cannot afford the current short-term rental houses if they did become available. And so we have to look for different ways to find housing for people in the median income category. We need more housing that's available for that. That's not going to be the houses that are currently short-term rentals for the most part. And so I would suggest looking at different options. How can we build more affordable housing? Maybe looking at houses that are on one side of the railroad tracks on the west side as being a separate category, because those would be guaranteed not to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mary Kay Campbell. Please approach the podium and state your full name and address for the record. Again, in 2 minutes, it'll turn yellow, 3 minutes, it'll turn red.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor and council for taking public comments. It's very, very great. My name is Mary Kay Campbell. I live at 9550 Compass Rose Hill Road, Rockaway Beach, although I live right outside the city limits in Barview. So, and for brevity, and so I won't go off on a tangent, I'm gonna follow this that I sent in, my testimony on. I am the 2024 president of the Tillamook Board of Realtors. As a realtor, I understand this subject very well. I also know it can be a contentious one. There are valid and emotional arguments on both sides. I was very involved in the long and arduous 2-year journey with the county to find a solution. Rockaway has been one of the very few options where STRs were welcomed since the moratorium with the county and the caps that were applied. Thank you. You guys made a lot of buyers and sellers happy. And by the way, I'm not here to represent realtors. I'm here to represent our clients. It's understandable that the city would want to find a reasonable and equitable management system. There are a few questions I have from the standpoint of our clients, who are both buyers and sellers, who are many Rockaway residents. And I have put together a list of pending and active homes currently in the city of Rockaway. I weeded out the ones that are in the county. I went to Clatsop, Tillamook, Flex, and Portland. So there was about 15. 8 listings that are active and 7 pending. Pending homes are homes that have a signed offer and are in the process of closing. There is more than a good chance that many of these buyers bought their home with the intention of short-term renting. In fact, many buyers cannot make their dream of a beach home come true unless they have the revenue from STRs. This means that if these transactions cannot close, these pending transactions cannot close before the new rules are implemented, their transactions will likely terminate, and the seller will have to start over and may have a more difficult time selling their home. Active listings are homes where sellers are trying to sell their home. Many of these sellers need to sell their home for medical or family reasons or death. We help people make that happen. Several of us have buyers who are waiting to make an offer, but they need to be assured that they can obtain an STR license or they can't make it work. Since you are exempting those who are under construction, I implore you to consider exempting the pending and active listings which are under a listing or sales contract now. If the new ordinance is enacted today and will be implemented in 30 days, that does not give the majority of us enough time to service our clients and complete a transaction. Perhaps you could include in the ordinance that the transactions, currently 15, that are established before the vote is taken on implementing the ordinance will be exempt. Any new listings or sales after that point won't be an exception to the cap.
We reached the end of the 3 minutes, so please sum up your comment.
I had one more question. Out of the 15 transactions, 3 of them are commercial zones. I did not see commercial zones addressed in the ordinance. I know that Manzanita exempts commercial property from the wait list. Thank you for your attention. I wanted to make you aware of our concerns for the clients. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, I grew up coming to Rockaway Beach. I love it here. I want to live here. Many of our sellers have to move, and we want to make it
Thank you, Ms. Campbell.
as easy as possible. Thank you for your attention.
Sorry, and just to make sure, we have your written testimony?
Yes, you do.
The chair recognizes Christine Hayes. Ms. Hayes, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you know the magic 8.
Christine Hayes, 663 South Beacon Street, Rockaway Beach, Oregon. And my comments are as a private citizen. So I have some questions. I do not feel like I have an answer one way or the other about us having a cap or not. I asked for data from the past years, so I could see if our numbers had gone up and down and how they had moved with the percentages of building permits or new homes that we had. I read something recently that said we had 450 in 2021, so that makes me worry about our economy. Something else to be shared or to know about Rockaway Beach is when our comprehensive plan was written, which is our document about our economy, we wrote that we're a resort residential town, which means that we live on tourism. Bay City they wrote their comp plan on industry. So they knew they had the jerky plants and they wanted industry. And so when the cities wrote their comp plans, they wrote a plan of action to keep their citizens fed. Ours has been tourism and resort economies. I almost feel as though realtors should have to give the comp plan of the town to the people when they buy their house, so they know what they're getting into when they buy where they buy. And so I think that that's something for us to acknowledge as we're looking at these things. My next thing, so I would encourage you to look at the data in the past years and really see how the numbers have changed, because I don't know that information and I've looked for it. I think it will help you make the decisions that you make soundly. The next thing I would really encourage us to look at is, for me, I take great pride in the fact that we are a family community. Many of the people I build homes for it's on property that's like 5 generations old. The only reason we're building a home is because the poor old home can't make it on the property anymore. And I take great pride in working for those people. And I believe in many of the rules that we're making, we're losing those people. The families I work for will mortgage their property to pay for grandma's assisted living place. And then when she passes away, rent it out to pay the mortgage until they can move here and live here themselves. And so I would ask us to look at the licenses and make them transferable through family. Or if a kid buys a family from a grandparent, make it so that they can make their mortgage and keep that family home, in their family. I take great pride in that. I don't know, maybe we all don't. Actually, another city official told me they didn't give a damn. And that really offended me, because I take great, it's why I grew up here, it's why I raised my kids here, The next thing.
Ms. Hayes, you reached the 3-minute mark.
Okay, can I close with
Yeah,
one
just
thing?
close with a sentence or two.
I would have us look at the hotels and motels that are actually short-term rentals and no longer functioning as hotels and motels. They're not owner-operated anymore. They're being rented out as a short-term rental. And so they should go through the system the same way and not like a mom and pop like they used to.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Todd Spencer. Mr. Spencer, please approach the podium, state your full name and address for the record. 2 minutes, you'll get yellow. 3 minutes, which is the time limit, you'll get red.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Todd Spencer, 538 Highway 101 South. I just want to go, I personally want to leave it the way it is. I think if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think that I've seen this town in the last 6-7 years go from a lot of derelict homes, a lot of broken down homes. They call it Rockaway, a lot of people. And I've seen people, you drive around this city and there's very few homes left that are derelict. It's fixed itself up. I don't understand why we would want to change something that's working. We heard the city accountant talk about, the city's doing really well. I would think that this has a lot to do with it. I saw $1.6 million in revenue on the screen earlier. And it's like, you're seeing something that's working very well, and we still have a ways to go. I don't understand, the pros outdo the cons. And I don't understand why we would change it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Leslie and Todd. Is it Louble?
Wobble.
Louble? Okay,
That's
thank you. Sorry about that.
No, you're not the first one.
Ms. Louble?
My name is Leslie Hoover Wobble, and I live at 520 Kesperson Court in Rockaway Beach. Unlike the other participants, I'm kind of going to be the Debbie Downer. I know, someone has to. Yeah, Kesterson Court is up off Pacific View, and our cul-de-sac, including our home, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses on a cul-de-sac, a very compact cul-de-sac. At this point, there are 4 short-term rentals in our neighborhood. It impacts the parking on our cul-de-sac, which is quite limited. One of our main concerns is if any of the homes, including our own, need to have an emergency met, vehicles can't get down there and turn around when there are people parked where they're parking. When I looked at the map that the city provided as far as parking goes, one swath, which is in the red, includes all parking of one of them. Just so you know what the density is, one house will hold 25 people, another house will hold 16, and it's now remodeling it so it can hold more. So when we moved into the neighborhood, it was a neighborhood, and now we find ourselves surrounded by businesses. It has an impact on us. I'm not familiar with the rules and regulations about whether short-term rentals are considered a business, or if there's a short-term rental in a residential area, whether that is somehow not right, I don't know those. Because of Kesterson Court, we have a short pavement, and then the rest is gravel, and there's quite a big dip. And we've noticed over the years that as more vehicles come down, it erodes our road and makes it quite unreasonable to get through. Yeah, I don't know whether or not Kesterson Court, I have to check with the fire department, is considered a red road. We have no fire hydrants there, and the closest fire hydrant is up on Terrace and Pacific View. So I don't know if that gives us enough room to get someone in the emergency. So forgive me for being the downer, but I just want to say that at least in our area, the density of the short-term rentals has had a great impact on not only our enjoyment of our home, which we tried really hard to find. We now are going to have to build a privacy fence between there, just so we can keep all the people from yelling and driving their cars. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. S. Devlin. Please approach the podium, state your full name and address for the record. You know the drill about the magic egg over there.
My name is Siobhan Devlin. I live at 2010 Highway 101 North. I also own a business here in town. I would basically summarize what I was going to say is that the pastor covered a lot of things. I didn't get the gentleman's name. We have an affordable housing problem. A lot of the money that's been coming into the town with the short-term rental fees is done amazing things for grants, signed grants, and things that have been going on to improve the city. Something that hasn't been brought up is what is the current policy, or can we look at the current policy for people buying buildings that Christine mentioned that were hotels and are now, or were actually apartments and are now short-term rentals. And what plans does the city have in place, and can we look at any of that money that is coming in to allocate something creative for buying land or building apartments for people who we need to work for our businesses. I think just in general, in summary, as the previous gentleman mentioned, Rockaway has a little bit of a reputation problem, and that we could work more towards trying to make it a place that people can find an affordable place to stay and stay for several days at a time, and that they don't go elsewhere for their seeking their entertainment or their meals or their cocktails. And yes, I would like a little bit more information about what the current policy is for our vacation rental guru and how the current complaint system is set up. But other than that, I would go back to what the pastor said. I think he covered a lot of really good points.
Thank you. All right, we have Cynthia Ferens online. Please state your full name and address for the record. We'll keep you advised of the timing.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Farron from 290 North Pacific. Can you hear me? Did you hear me okay?
Cynthia, can you speak?
I have been speaking.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. So this is Cynthia Farron from 290 North Pacific. in Rockaway Beach. My husband and I bought our place in 2017. These are one of the seascape condos that are down towards the water. Most of you are probably familiar with them. When we bought our place, we bought it as an existing short-term rental. We bought it to be our vacation home, but realizing how the coast can be rather unforgiving on buildings, we like the fact that we could do short-term rental and have a property manager for when we're not there, so that A, it's not standing open and unused, and B, that there's somebody regularly checking in on our place to make sure there's nothing like water damage, etc. So the short-term rental really allows us to have our vacation home. Now, we paid a premium when we bought it because it was a short-term rental and we could continue to do a short-term rental. We ensure that we meet all requirements from the city that the city put in last year for short-term rentals. We went through that process. We make sure we comply with it. But now we're in a position that if we go to sell our property, the buyer should have no expectation that they can get a short-term rental license. So our property value just went down. And that is money out of the city's pockets. It's money out of my pockets. You could potentially be replacing my fairly attractive beach rental with a much lesser income driving rental that's in a less desirable place for renters. All of these coming out of the city coffers. What I am proposing is that any existing short-term rental license holders, when they sell their property, that there be a certain window of availability for the new buyer to I know you're not transferring the license, right? I'm not asking for a license transfer, but that they have the availability to basically within a certain window apply for and receive the prior license slot on the list of short-term rentals. That would ensure that we continue to increase property values, which goes to the city's property taxes, as well as ensure that we're continuing to keep highly attractive properties available on the rental market so that Rockaway Beach continuing to compete on a favorable level with Manzanita and Cannon Beach.
We've reached the end of the 3 minutes, Ms. Farron.
Thank you very much. That was all I had to say.
Thank you. Anybody else online?
We have no other hands raised.
Okay. Just mention, for those of you who spoke, thank you very much. Really appreciate you participating in the public hearing. I will be sharing my thoughts on short-term rentals at the end of the meeting during the mayor report. So I encourage all of you who have an interest in it and took the time to speak. I know it's a long meeting, but I encourage you to stay to the end of the meeting so you have an opportunity to hear my perspective on short-term rentals. If there are no further speakers, I will close the public hearing at this time. And then we're going to take a 15-minute recess at this time. We will adjourn again at 20 to 8. 10 minutes, 25 minutes. Remotely indicating an interest in.
No hands raised.
No hands are up, all right. The chair recognizes Richard Cressy.
Creaser. Close.
Thank you. Please approach the podium and state your full name and address for the record. In this case, it turns yellow at 3 minutes, red at 4 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Take it away.
Richard Creaser, 351 North Palisades, Rockaway Beach. Bear with me, I'm not really like the speech guy. So what I'm trying to get done today is basically, it's really not about anything this, but mental awareness for the community is really what it's about, okay? You know, the city has no problem finding some funds, apparently. But we should probably try to find some funds for maybe our seniors that live here in our local.
And the only reason I say that is because I've been sitting down with them. And I've been finding out that, you know, they need somebody to talk to. You know, there's a lot of people over the last 3 years, unprecedented times have come upon all. I don't care anymore. Is what it is. But what we can do as a community is figure out how to answer it moving forward. You know, there's a lot of people who don't have wives today, don't have husbands today, and there's nobody for them to go talk to and socialize with today. There's a problem with that. So, you know, it's not like I'm trying to get some funds for me to walk up in there and play some poker. But you know, we probably should, as a team together, figure it out. I don't care if it's poker, a social, I don't care. But what the answer is we gotta come up with something, because if I guess I had to ask the fire chief or wherever those numbers went, okay? I'm guessing those numbers are there for a reason. Not mysterious, it's mental health awareness, and that's what we need to address. The country has a problem in mental awareness. And we can start by being legends here and fixing it. And every single year, when people know it's not Rockaway, it's badass away, whatever you want to call it. But basically, that's the attitude we need to come bring to the ballgame, you know? And you stick up for our people and our seniors. And that's really it. So, I don't know where my 4 minutes is at, but I think everybody's got the gist of it, you know? So, all I'm saying is with the amount of creative minds that are sitting in this room, I'm sure somebody's got a better idea than me that could help little old Richard out. Okay?
All right.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The chair recognizes Nancy Webster. Please approach the podium, state your full name and address for the record, and then, of course, 3 minutes, it will turn yellow. At 4 minutes, it will turn red, and we ask you to end your talk when it turns red.
Hi, my name is Nancy Webster. I reside at 26536 White Dove, Rockaway Beach, within the city limits. I am coming here to talk to you about water, the importance of water, and that Jetty Creek is our drinking water source, the watershed that supplies this community with the surface water. And right now, the city of Rockaway is looking at possibly acquiring this drinking water source. And I am very happy that this is happening. And I want to talk to you about that we are going to be, our group, North Coast Communities for Watershed Protection, which I represent, is offering 3 meetings for the community members and other people that are concerned about drinking watersheds to come and learn more. And this will be held, the first one is February 3rd at St. Mary's by the Sea. We will have a guest speaker, Chuck Willard, who is the co-chair for the last 40 years, I think, of Oregon Coast Range Association. He knows a lot about watershed assessments, watershed protections, why it's important to protect our watershed for drinking water. He knows about easements and how to get assessments, and he's a wealth of information. So people can come February 3rd, 2 o'clock, free, St. Mary's, and learn about drinking water, the importance of protecting it, and how to get involved with us. And so hope you all show up, and I have more flyers here. I was gonna come early and pass them out, and it didn't happen. So please come, and I wanna thank the city for approving a grant that is helping us support the next 3 speakers. And with the second speaker we're talking about is Herb Hammond, who recently did a Zoom call with us. It's an incredible, we have the link on our webpage. He's incredible talking about what's happening in our forests, what's happening in our watershed, specifically Jetty Creek. And he also gives a sense of hope, is that just let it rewild and heal. And so that we can all work together to have this watershed become whole again. Thank you.
What time was that again?
2 o'clock. Okay, what was the question? What time
February
was it?
3rd.
February 3rd, 2 o'clock, St. Mary's by the Sea, Saturday. And you can also, we have a handout with our webpage on it, and you can also go to our webpage, there's a lot of good information. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Ronnie Duckworth. Please approach the podium, state your full name and address for the record, and you'll get a yellow light warning after 3 minutes and a red light. It's 4 minutes and your time is up.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, Council, City Manager. My name is Ronnie Duckworth. I stay at 979 Island Street in Rockaway. And what I'm concerned about is at the end of my street again, but this is about the tree. Because there used to be the entrance to get to the old tree. They put a sign up, they put a fence up. People still go there, go around the sign, go up in that muddy trail. I've seen little kids, babies, people carrying babies in their arms, come back out, diapers left there on the street. They leave cigarettes, they throw their trash out down there because it's a dead end. And what we wanted to do was, I know I had spoke with Bill, and he was saying that they wanted to put a sign on the street there that says that there's no more interest to the tree on Washington and Island Street. They need to put one down on 101 there, so they don't keep going straight going to the parking lot there. Because like I said, especially over Christmas, New Year's, it was a mess on the street. Just a total mess. People would come down, get upset because we tell them you can't go there. They peel out, throw gravel, throw stuff out the window. And we just, like in that area back there, if they can put some blackberry bushes, cut them, I'm serious. Because, okay, just about the entrance to the beaches. Same thing. Somebody go back up in there and get hurt. It's gonna be a serious rescue. Because if you ever took that path to go to the tree that way, it's not easy. And for, like I said, people taking, babies back there, young kids, taking them back there, it's bound to happen. Someone's gonna get hurt bad up in there. So if we can get the city, whoever got blackberry bush, they wanna bring them over, we shove them back up in there. You gotta put some kind of deterrent. Because they did before. One of our neighbors, he went with his friends because they was using it, doing their little deal. They ripped it all out, went back there and cut it all up, and pulled it out and pushed it to the side so they could get through there.
Oh, nice.
So, like I said, I need help. I don't know what more to do, besides stand there, with a little bat like he came up his way. But, I just want to get somebody, let you guys be aware of it, because like I said, I know all these new regulations, or like on the beach, and they don't say, well, that's the way we used to go to the tree, even though the signs are there. If you don't give them more deterrent, they don't care. Because, like I said, a lot of it is short-term people, renters, because they're not gonna be here long. They come, they do whatever they're gonna do and leave. Just like for even the 4th, fireworks, I don't wanna even go back to New Year's, fireworks, stuff just all on the ground everywhere. I mean, I don't know what we can do, but we gotta do something.
I know we're never comment on what people say, but I just want to say, would you please get together with our Public Works and our city manager and try to work on that, because I have also observed it's an issue. So please get together with them.
I can do that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody online raise their hand? All right. Well, thanks everybody for being engaged with city government and sharing your thoughts and opinions. We have no old business before us, so we'll move on to new business. Consideration of resolution 2024-01, adopting the 2022-2023 fiscal year audit plan of ACO. This resolution adopts an action plan in response to deficiencies reported in our audit of the fiscal year ending June 31st, 2023. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. We did not have anybody sign up, anybody raise their hand remotely. All right, the chair will entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve or deny resolution 2024-01 adopting 2022-2023 fiscal year audit plan of action.
I move that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-01.
Second. All right. It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-01, adopting 2022-2023 fiscal year audit plan of action. Council President Cheek, did you want to make any comments? Councilors, any other comments before we take a vote? All right. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Hayes?
Yes.
Council Martine?
Yes.
Council McGinnis?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Consideration to elect a council president. The Rockaway Beach City Charter, Chapter 3, Section 8, provides that at its first meeting each year, the council must elect a president from its membership. The president presides in the absence of the mayor and acts as mayor when the mayor is unable to perform duties. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. No one signed up. Do we have? No one is remotely. All right. Well, then I move to re-elect Councilor Penny Cheek as council president. Do I have a second?
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council re-elect Councilor Penny Cheek as council president. Any council comments before I take a vote? All right. Let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Hayes?
Yes.
Councilor Martine?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
The motion passes. First reading by title only of ordinance 2024-01, an ordinance amending City of Rockaway Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 113, related to short-term rentals. This is consideration to perform the first reading of ordinance 2024-01. This ordinance amends the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 113, related to short-term rentals. It establishes the authority to set a cap on licenses and authorizes the establishment of fees for waiting lists. The Rockaway Beach City Council is now scheduled to consider performing the first reading by title only of ordinance 2024-01, an ordinance amending City of Rockaway Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 113, related to short-term rentals. All documents have been available for inspection as required by the city charter. The chair will now entertain a motion to perform the first reading by title only of ordinance 2024-1.
I move that we perform the first reading by title only of ordinance 2024-01.
Second?
I'll second.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council perform the first reading by title only of ordinance 2024-01. Do the councilors have any comments? Okay. Since there's no discussion, let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Hayes?
I'm abstaining.
Thank you. Councilor Martine?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously with 1 abstention. We will now do the first reading of the ordinance. Ordinance 2024-01, an ordinance amending City of Rockaway Beach Code of Ordinances, Chapter 113, related to short-term rentals. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the first reading by title only of ordinance 2024-01.
I move that the Rockaway Beach City Council approve the first reading by title only of ordinance 2024-01.
Second?
I second the motion.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve the first reading by title only of ordinance 2024-01. Any discussion? All right, let's record how councilors vote. Council President Cheek?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Hayes?
Abstaining.
Councilor Martine?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously with 1 abstention. Consideration of resolution 2024-02, authorizing a safe drinking water revolving loan fund grant contract for source water protection. This resolution authorizes a grant contract with the state from the Safe Drinking Water Revolving Loan Fund in the amount of $50,000 for the Drinking Water Source Protection Plan project, and authorizes the city manager or his designee to sign the contract. Public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. I did not have anybody sign up. Do we have anybody remotely? All right, thank you. The chair will entertain a motion that the Rockaway Beach City Council approve or deny Resolution 2024-02, authorizes a safe drinking water revolving loan fund grant contract for source water protection.
I motion we pass resolution number 2024-02, a resolution authorizing a safe drinking water revolving loan fund grant contract for source water protection.
Second?
I'll second it.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-02, authorizes a safe drinking water revolving loan fund grant contract for source water protection. Any comment from the council?
No, I want to make a comment.
Sure.
I want to thank city staff for going after this grant, so this doesn't come out of our city coffers. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, let's record how councilors vote. Council President Sheep?
Yes.
Councilor Franken?
Yes.
Councilor Hayes?
Yes.
Councilor Martine?
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Consideration of Resolution 2024-03, a resolution directing city staff to close city trails that are used to access recreational areas and post no access signs. On July 6, 2023, the Oregon Court of Appeals issued an opinion in the Fields versus City of Newport case, effectively ending recreational immunity for improved trails and striking it down as an immunity that protects public and private landowners from lawsuits. The City of Newport asked the Oregon Supreme Court to overrule the Court of Appeals and restore the portions of recreational immunity that were lost. On October 5th, 2023, the Oregon Supreme Court officially declined to review the Court of Appeals decision in Fields. This action, called review denied, functions as a de facto endorsement by the Oregon Supreme Court of the Oregon Court of Appeals decision, striking down recreational immunity for pass to recreational areas. Rockaway Beach has 23 such access points to the beach within its city limits. This resolution directs city staff to close city trails that are used to access recreational areas, including beach access points, and post no access signs. The resolution also establishes a policy decision not to attempt to enforce no access sign warnings. The step is being considered in response to the court-directed change in the interpretation of recreational immunity and provides legal protection for the city of Rockaway Beach. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. I had no one sign up on the sign-up sheet. We have nobody remotely. The chair will entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve or deny Resolution 2024-03, a resolution directing city staff to close city trails that are used to access recreational areas and post no access signs.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-03, directing the staff to close these recreational trails and post signs.
I'll second it.
May I ask a question?
When we get to the, so it is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve Resolution 2024-03, a resolution directing city staff to close city trails that are used to access recreational areas and post no access signs. Any comments from?
I have a question for the, and forgive me, I didn't think of it sooner, maybe it's just a no-brainer. Why are we not posting enter at your own risk?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I didn't think of it sooner, I would have asked you that. I'm sure there must be a legal reason for that, is that right? Rather than no access?
Yeah, and the language on the sign, came from the insurance carrier.
Okay.
So if, for whatever reason, they feel that's the best language.
Okay.
That's their specialty, so we say sure.
Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just think it's a terrible thing to have to do, and to be forced into this way is just really uncomfortable for us, and I'm sure it's for everybody that's in the audience.
So I have a couple things. One, the only people who can fix this is our state legislature. They can pass a new recreational immunity law that takes care of this. Please write. You can make like one email and send a blast out to all of the legislature, but please write, because this is the only way to get it fixed. Our insurance company has sent us advice saying we have to do this or they won't cover our liability. So please contact your legislature. That's just my comment.
All right, let's record how councilors vote. Council President Sheep.
Yes.
Councilor Franken.
Yes.
Councilor Hayes.
Regretfully, yes.
Councilor Martine.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Consideration of resolution 2024-04, approving additional awards for the 2023-2024 community grant program. This resolution approves additional awards to applicants for the 2023-2024 community grant program. The grant program provides funding to nonprofit entities and other organizations that serve the Rockaway Beach community. The city appropriated $60,000 for the community grant program as part of its 2023-2024 budget. Over $30,000 has been awarded thus far, and additional funds are available. The council reviewed updated applications at their workshop this evening, and we now consider granting application awards to the Friends of the Rockaway Beach Library for a flagpole, commercial grade flagpole for the library. The last one blew down in the wind. And Friends of the Rockaway Beach Library funding for a mailing outreach project. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. I did not have any sign up. We have nobody committed. The chair will entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve or deny resolution 2024-04, approving the additional 2 awards discussed at the workshop for the 2023-2024 community grant program.
I motion we approve resolution number 2024-04 with both awards.
Second.
I'll second it.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-04, approving additional awards for the 2023-2024 community grant program. Any council comments? I'll just say, I think the Friends of the Library, our library in town, is one of the really best assets we have in our community, and really appreciate what they bring to our community. So let's record how councilors vote. Council President Sheep.
Yes.
Councilor Franken.
Yes.
Councilor Hayes.
Yes.
Councilor Martine.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Consideration of resolution 2024-05, approving a scope of work from GSI Water Solutions, Inc. for a drinking water protection plan for the city of Rockaway Beach, and authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement. This resolution approves the scope of work from GSI Water Solutions for the facilitation of watershed acquisition, and authorize the city manager to execute a professional services agreement. The public comment period is an essential part of local government. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. I have no one sign up, and we have no one remotely. The chair will entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve or deny resolution 2024-05, approving a scope of work from GSI Water Solutions, Inc. for a drinking water protection plan for the city of Rockaway Beach, and authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2025, approved scope of work for GSI Water Solutions. That's a really long title, so I'm just going to end there.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-05, approving a scope of work from GSI Water Solutions, Inc. for a drinking water protection plan for the city of Rockaway Beach and authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement. Any comments from the councilors? Since there is no discussion, let's record our councilors' vote. Council President Sheik.
Yes.
Councilor Franklin.
Yes.
Councilor Hayes. Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Consideration of resolution 2024-06, approving the scope of work from Sustainable Northwest for project management services related to watershed acquisition, easement, or land transfer, and authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement. This resolution approves the scope of work, it's in Schedule 1.1 from Sustainable Northwest for facilitation of watershed acquisition and authorizes the city manager to execute a professional services agreement. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. I didn't have anybody sign up. So, the chair will entertain a motion that the Rockaway Beach City Council approve and adopt resolution 2024-06, and I'm not going to read the rest of it.
I move that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-06, approving a scope of work from Sustainable Northwest for project management services related to watershed acquisition, easement, or land transfer, and authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-06, approving a scope of work from Sustainable Northwest for project management services related to watershed acquisition, easement, or land transfer, and authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement. Any discussion?
You know, I would just let people know that Sustainable Northwest is very experienced with this. They just worked a couple of years ago on another local watershed acquisition, and they bring a lot of knowledge and expertise into the role, and I'm glad that we're working with them.
Any other discussion? So let's record our councilors vote. Council President Sheik.
Yes.
Councilor Franklin.
Yes.
Councilor Hayes.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Consideration of resolution 2024-07, establishing the Source Water Protection Plan Development Advisory Committee. This resolution establishes an advisory committee for the purposes of receiving and reviewing project information and providing community input to the Source Water Protection Plan facilitator during the development of the city's Source Water Protection Plan. The public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings. Each person has 4 minutes to speak. I had no one sign up. No one requesting virtually to speak. The chair will now entertain a motion that Rockaway Beach City Council approve or deny resolution 2024-07, establishing the Source Water Protection Plan Development Advisory Committee.
I motion we pass resolution number 2024-07, a resolution establishing the Source Water Protection Plan Development Advisory Committee.
Second.
I'll second it.
It is moved and seconded that Rockaway Beach City Council approve resolution 2024-07, establishing the Source Water Protection Plan Development Advisory Committee. Any discussion or comments from the council?
I have one comment.
Sure.
So we're allowing one person that's not a voting citizen that's in the UGB that's affected by the water to be on the board. If I were creating this myself, I would say that anybody who is drinking the water and lived here would be able to be on this committee. And so it's my hope that we'll have way more applications from people who have this background to review, and that we might look at that as a committee, as a board together in the future. Because I know there are really great professionals that don't live in the city boundaries that could help us with this.
So, may I comment also? Thank you. So this is a Citizens Advisory Committee, and it is intended to be people like you who apply for it, people who drink the water and who care about our drinking water. And so, it's just, for you, you'll see the scope as it comes along. We've never had a committee like this before, but it's an ordinary citizens committee. We do want people who have some knowledge of the drinking water so that they know what's going on. Please apply for it. All of you.
You know who you are.
You know who you are, all of you apply for it.
If you have an interest in what we're gonna do with Jady Creek watershed and the future of water for our city, please apply. We're not looking for degrees necessarily, so, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, let's record our council's vote. Council President Chi.
Yes.
Council Franklin.
Yes.
Council Hayes.
Oh, yay. Yeah.
Council Martin.
Yes.
Council McGinnis.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Well, that brings us to council comments. Council President Chi.
Well, I just reflect on this last year that we just finished and, we've just really accomplished a lot. This city, we've done, a lot to make our city better and more usable. And I really appreciate the staff's work. Luke has just been a gem, making all of this happen. All of this paperwork that we see is all generated by him and the staff, and it's phenomenal. And the research that goes in it, it helps us think these decisions is really what we need. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Council President Chi. Councilor Franklin.
Yes, I'd like to echo some of that, the city staff and Luke and team, phenomenal work. And congratulations on the successful audit as well. And I'd like to thank our emergency services folks, pretty full plate, especially from the sheriff's aspect. And I'd like to thank the citizens for all your valuable input, especially on the topic of the short-term rentals. It's a complicated topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Hayes.
I would like us to look at waiving ADU fees. And that's a topic I brought up over and over. We were the first ones to zone ADUs legal in Rockaway, and that's part of the big lift to change housing here. And we did it in Rockaway, encouraging the rest of Tallman County to do so as well. Now they've done that, but we have not talked about what kind of fees we might charge someone. And so as it stands now, I believe they would be the same as if they were building a home. And I've had two different people tell me they would build an ADU if we had some kind of an incentive around those fees. But we have not done so or talked about it as a body. And I do believe we need housing, and I don't believe that the $1 million homes are gonna open up and rent their homes. I don't believe my double wide would become available to rent out, honestly. I myself had a fiasco with a renter that cost us about $12,000. And so I would like to look at ways to create housing, and I believe that the little tiny ADUs that we used to have with the big huge homes used to be a way for the college kid or the nurse or the waitress or whoever to have a livable place with us. So I guess I'll just keep saying that until hopefully we'll discuss it. I'm hoping it will become an agenda topic that we can debate and do something about sooner, more so than later, because we do have some great businesses, new businesses that need workers here. And I would also say thank you to Public Works for the long roads, fixing things. Thank you.
Is that everything?
That's it.
Thank you. Councilor Martin.
I just want to say, I'm glad how well our council is doing. We're doing well financially. We're getting a lot of stuff done. And, we're looking good.
Thank you, Councilor Martine. Councilor McGinnis.
Yeah, I could probably start off where Tom left. He said we're looking good, so I'll just start off with that. City manager did a year-end report of all the things that the community and the staff, all staff, from everything from public works to fire department to city staff and the governing body have accomplished, and that's on the city website. It's phenomenal. If all of you can just click on that and see what we have been doing. That's one thing. And the other thing is, I appreciate the comments from the people in the room about short-term rentals. I wish I had about 50 more comments. So please go to my city council, to the city council page, click on my picture, you'll see my email, my phone number, please send more comments. There's 1,500 people who live here in town, and I'd like to get a good cross-section of all 1,500 people, and hear again from you if you want to send me something too. And other than that, I'll invite Tom. It's been a good year.
Thank you.
I might add that if folks want to submit comments for the record for the entire council, that can be sent to City Hall at porter.us.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. All right, City Manager Shepherd and I will once again be in the upstairs conference room to meet with community members at 9 a.m. on the fourth Thursday of the month. And this month, that's January 25th, 2024, and we look forward to our interaction. I want to thank everyone who shared their thoughts on our City Council considering setting a cap on short-term rentals, also known as STRs, within the city limits of Rockaway Beach. We are a better community. We are better as a community when we openly share our views while respecting the views of those who may disagree. As such, let me share my views on STRs. I will start by stating I don't believe STRs impact the availability of affordable housing in the city of Rockaway Beach. Unfortunately, there is very little Rockaway Beach can do about increasing affordable housing in the city. When Tillamook County Commissioners looked at opportunities to build affordable housing in Tillamook County, they concluded that the city of Rockaway Beach was not a location within which this could happen. So this isn't an issue for STRs. We do have a variety of owners who want to monetize a house or condo in our community by generating an income stream. They may own or buy a house or condo and put it on the STR market. Others may own or buy a house or condo for use as a long-term rental. In one case, the owner provides tourist housing. In the other case, the owner provides workforce housing. Both outcomes provide tax benefits and investment income to the local and absentee owners, both of which are important to our beloved community, and both business models do have pros and cons. I do believe our discussion of an STR cap is, in a small way, about workforce housing and the availability of long-term rentals. An example would be the sale of the house next to me. The new owner, realizing that maintaining 2 mortgages would be a stretch, put it on the market as a long-term rental. As such, a social worker who worked in Tillamook rented the house. She was a delightful neighbor. Additionally, research found that STR market can drive up long-term rental rates. But let me get to my main points. As many folks have pointed out, our economy is driven by visitors. A substantial part of our success as a visitor-driven economy are from those who come for the day. I call them day trippers. Others come and stay at one of the 191 hotel motel rooms, and still others come and stay in one of the over 450 short-term rentals. I am sure you get that hotels and motels do not sit in the middle of residential neighborhoods, but STRs do. So for me, it comes down to finding a balance between providing tourist housing, livability for residents, and the impact on our infrastructure, roads, water, sewer, staff, etc. More visitors have been attracted to our area for the beach, the relaxed and friendly atmosphere, the restaurants and stores, events, and beautiful outdoor recreational opportunities. We saw this with the increase in the number of visitors descending on Rockaway Beach last year for our 4th of July parade, the wiener dog races, the fireworks, and other events. More visitors are coming to Rockaway Beach throughout the year too, no longer just in the summer months. The increase in visitors is good for our business community, but it creates demand for services, especially law enforcement, medical, public facilities, and utilities, and impacts our residents. We had an 18% increase in calls to the sheriff's office from 2022 to 2023. Finding ways to balance the needs of visitors, business owners, including STR owners, and residents, full and part-time, is critical to our city's future. Our city leaders need to think about that balance. Think about how many tourists can we effectively support without damaging what makes Rockaway Beach a great place to visit and a great place to live. The question is, how much tourist housing is enough? Achieving this balance will not be easy, but I believe that a critical lever for City Council to achieve balance is to have the option to set a cap on STRs. Let's make collaboration and community engagement our North Star as we continue to build a community that thrives and serves all stakeholders. Thanks for your time and attention this evening. I am still listening. I will entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I motion we adjourn.
Second. Let's record our council's vote. Council President Key.
Yes.
Councilor Franklin.
Yes.
Councilor Hayes. Councilor Martin. Yes. Councilor McGinnis.
Yes.
Motion passes. We are adjourned at 8:18 on Wednesday, January 10th.